I want to welcome our family, friends, and followers to our Saginaw Faith Collaborative page. I'm Pastor Bob Davis of the Christ Fellowship in partnership with Dr. Hurley J. Coleman and the World Outreach Campus as we are in collaboration to bring this faith-based initiative to you. Do me a favor, like, share, and comment. For those of you who are watching live and those of you who will watch later, would you do that for me? I appreciate it so much. I have the distinct honor and privilege to have an audience with one of my good friends and one of my covenant brothers, Dr. Marvin T. Smith. Now, many of you don't know that T stands for Timothy. Only a friend can really put that out there like that, but this is a brother, a friend. He's the pastor of the Mount Olive Institutional Baptist Church right here in the beautiful city of Saginaw. Actually, we're neighbors. Our church is right around the corner. Dr. Smith, welcome to the platform. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know that you are a busy man, and we just thank you for agreeing to be with us today.
My pleasure.
Dr. Smith, one of the things we want to do is, first of all, let me just ask this. How are you doing, man? We've been now some 20 months in this pandemic, March of last year to this year. How is Dr. Smith doing?
I am well. I am doing so much better now than I was. And this is by and part because I took the entire month of July off. I scaled back the number of classes I was doing here at the church. And so it gave me a chance to do me, so to speak, to rest, to pull away from the rigors of this work, but then also to give me a mental break from what we do 24/7. And so I am so much better now than I was.
Yeah. How has it been for you personally leading through uncharted territory? I mean, you're a visionary, you're a leader already, but this pandemic has forced all of us to be leaders that we never knew that we had to be. How's it been for you?
Yeah, this is no doubt been the hardest season of my pastorate, and cumulatively I've been doing this about 28 years.
Wow.
So many reasons why it was so hard. One, we didn't see it coming.
Sure.
Two, when it hit all of us. And three, we were unable to see the people that we serve, and the list just goes on. But again, it's that type of situation where we've been forced to trust a God that we love, but we do not understand.
Yeah.
And so, again, this has been one of those hard seasons that we've had to try to be instant in and out of season.
Absolutely.
But it's been tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this. How has it been for your church during COVID? I mean, we're pastors who are hands-on.
Yeah.
We're not just spiritually getting in the pulpit to preach and teach. We're personal, hands-on. So how has it been for your church in response to COVID?
Yeah, that too is another layer of difficulty. Again, not being able to see the people.
Sure.
Not being able to touch the people, not really being able to talk with the people. And so the whole notion of intimacy and fellowship that shepherds and sheep serve together and experience together, that has just been totally wiped out in terms of what we understood it to be.
Absolutely.
And of course, when it comes to weddings, funerals, homegoing celebrations, ministry meetings and all of that, we have not been able to do that in person. We just recently returned to the building in terms of Sunday morning celebrations, but even with that, you're only able to see just a handful of your people. So for the church itself, it has been really hard. But again, the work continues. We've had to rethink how we do ministry in such an environment. But it again, we were not prepared for this. Anyone who says they were prepared for this pandemic, I would say what?
Say what again?
So again, it was just hard for everyone.
Yeah. Dr. Smith, tell us, how has your church responded to the vaccination?
Okay. I think by and large, and of course we just have to be careful with numbers and all of that, but by and large, based upon the response to us hosting and partnering with the health department, and just seeing them when I do see them and hearing them, I would say that we have a large percentage, more than 50-60% of our congregation has participated with the whole vaccination, the booster shots, etc. So that's encouraging, and we again just want to be prepared to tell others what was the tipping point for us. Why did we succumb to it? Why did we submit to it? But for us, it has been one of those situations where we've had to decide how we're going to take care of others. It's a new way of taking care of others, and so in taking care of others, we also take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. So do you feel like the community has responded well to, I know your church was a site for the vaccination. Do you think the community responded well to that?
Yeah. Initially, it was overwhelming in terms of lines were out the building, around the corner. But as time went on, it was almost like it moved to a hush.
Sure.
And not sure where people were. I don't know if people had just given up. I don't know if people were just frustrated and said that, hey, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to make a difference. But we continue to offer this site as a location because people will come to the church when they won't go anywhere else.
That's right.
And so if one or two get vaccinated, that's one or two who have the additional armor, so to speak, and they can protect others and they can protect themselves. So we're still trying to reach the masses. We're still trying to not necessarily figure out why people won't come, but we're trying to make sure that they'll never be able to say, if Mount Olive was opening its doors, I would have come there. So but figuring out, we just don't know.
Sure, that's good. Yeah. I heard you mention that you're open back. The church is open back for Sunday services. Yeah. So, what was your thought process, along with your staff, on how to do that? How to reopen? How did you come up with that?
Well, we pulled together what we call the REST, re-entry, for the R and the E, S strategy, and then T team.
Okay.
And this is a group of individuals of our church who are doctors, nurses, accountants, what have you, people who wanted to gather data, information, and come up with a strategy for us to re-enter. And we did this maybe about half a year, if not longer, before we actually figured out when we were going to try to do it. And so we wanted to reopen in stages, and we're just about to complete phase 1 of that opening, which began the second Sunday in August.
Okay.
So again, they put together the work. They looked at data, they looked at numbers, they looked at our geographical area and the challenges, and looked at the diagram of the facility, developed protocols, seating arrangements, entering, exiting, you name it, the A to Z of trying to do something we've never done before. So far we haven't had any cases, so to speak. We haven't had any issues, any hiccups in the process, and so we're now into November now. So we've done it 2 or 3 months now.
Okay.
So we're steadily tweaking and working it out. So it's going to be interesting what happens when we move to phase 2.
Interesting enough, when the pandemic first hit, this word was floated around: essential workers. And that was those who were on the front lines: doctors, nurses, police officers, fire and EMT workers, funeral directors, and pastors. We were considered essential workers. But a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes of that, it was difficult for us not to be able to go and sit with our families, to be able to help minister to them. I do understand you had to funeralize a lot of your members during this time. How has that affected the church, you, ministry?
That was a tremendous blow to me, as well as to the membership. To me, in that these are people who have served this church, this community well, and their home was here, and it's a high time for families to be able to minister to those families. There's something about God's house where certain things take place here that don't take place anywhere
Sure.
else. Sure. But again, we just couldn't do it, and so that was challenging, having to limit the number of people who could come and pay their final respects, so to speak, to someone who had been a blessing to them. So that was just hard, and having to go somewhere else for that, it was just hard. And so families adjusted well to it, had no challenges with them understanding that we just can't do it safely right now, and so we're having to yield to having all those services at the various mortuaries.
Appreciate that. Listen, Dr. Smith, thank you again. Do me a favor, just look in the camera and tell the viewers how they can connect with the Mount Olive Church and be a part. Someone sitting saying, hey, I'd love to hear Dr. Smith preach. It'll be a blessing to you. So tell them how they can connect with your church.
Well, family, good morning, and thank you again, Pastor Davis, for the opportunity just to have conversation. The Mount Olive Church, we're located North 6th Street here in Saginaw, and we have a 9:30 a.m. service that is both in person as well as YouTube and Facebook. If you would like to come in person, you would need to RSVP Monday through Friday, and we end that RSVP process by midnight on Friday. And so our phone number at the church, 989-752-8064. Tuesday we have a noonday that is streaming only, YouTube as well as Facebook, and then Wednesday 7 o'clock also streaming and Facebook. So we would love for you to study with us and worship with us, and again, God is definitely going to see us through. So thank you again, Pastor Dave, for the opportunity just to sit and talk.
Man, thank you. Listen, we're going to close out. We're in the week of Thanksgiving, and there could be some family members who are experiencing this season without their loved ones.
Yeah.
Dr. Smith, would you just give a final word of encouragement and just a final word of thoughts for those families who are dealing with this yet in this pandemic? Because we're still in a pandemic. It's not over. We're in present pandemic mode.
Yeah. I would just like to say that one of the most challenging parts of death or crises, whatever families go through, is perhaps that separation, the distance that is there as a result of what has happened. When it comes to death, we know that our loved ones have gone on, and we will be with them one day. It is a physical separation, but it is not a eternal separation. As it relates to these crises in the here and now, what we're going through, everything that we're going through is not a waste. God will use it in some way to strengthen us and even to draw us closer. And so I would say that whenever you're going through, always yield to what you're going through, and that is accept God's grace. His grace is sufficient. What everything you're dealing with, everything you're going through, He will always give you more than enough grace. But you've got to submit to that grace. You've got to accept that grace so that you'll be able to make it through. You'll be stronger on the other side. You'll have a testimony, and it'll make you all the more better. So praying for you. And again, just remember, no matter what we're going through, the Word of God tells us, Paul tells us, that we have to be thankful in everything.
That's right.
In everything, which is the will of the Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm praying for you, and please continue to pray for me and all the other families.
Family, thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. If you've been blessed by this conversation, I'm thankful for, again, Dr. Smith sitting down with us today. And listen, this is a season where you can be thankful in spite of it all. I'm Pastor Bob Davis of the Christ Fellowship Church, located 818 North Washington Avenue in the beautiful city of Saginaw. Our worship is on Facebook Live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Come be a part of us, hang out with us. And to my good friend, Dr. Hurley J. Coleman of the World Outreach Campus, thank you again, my brother, and we appreciate all that you do. Be blessed.